Did your friend know about the situation that was unfolding?
I filled her in on what happened. She had no idea until I told her.
Okay,
He says as he grabs a notepad and then her pen and writes something down.
Sam Meadows is your friend, correct?
Yes, sir. Principal Rankin writes something down on his notepad.
Now, could you walk me through what happened between you and Kai?
So just as Sam and I were about to leave to go find somebody, Kai walked up to us and accused me of being Shiro 2.0 by supposedly posting all those photos around the school. I denied it, and he said that he was going to bring me in. I resisted, and he threw a stick at Sam. That's when we started fighting. I was defending her and myself. Principal Rankin jots down what I said on his notepad.
You did beat him pretty badly. As I mentioned earlier, we had to call out the paramedics again to take him to the hospital.
How is the boy?
I know that his condition is stable and he did not sustain any life-threatening injuries. Though that said, he probably will be out for the rest of the week.
Good Lord.
So how did it get to that point, Michael? How did it go from self-defense to just unleashing on Kai?
I don't know. I think I lost control of myself. I'll throw in that at one point during our fight, Sam tried to intervene when he had me in a lock and he pushed her away. That's when something inside me just snapped. I just wanted to give him a taste of his own medicine. He's been harassing me since the first day. He has no right to treat anyone like that. He shouldn't get a pass for pushing people around just to get his way.
Why has he been harassing you, Michael?
Because I hung around this guy Shiro for the first week, and apparently they have beef, and I got dragged into it by him.
How exactly did you get dragged in?
He saw me hanging around Shiro on the first day. He walked up to me and basically told me about the whole poem thing that happened last year. Principal Rankin lets out a sigh.
Yeah, I remember that incident all too well. It was tough on all of us here. In the 18 years I've been at this institution, that was by far the worst thing we've ever had to deal with. This is all shaping up to be a close second, unfortunately.
Shiro told me he thought Kai was the one who posted those poems about Monica. Principal Rankin shakes his head.
It was never proven who was the culprit. Polar pit, rather. I can't speak much on that particular case since we have it sealed, but all I'll say is that we've tried to minimize discussion of that as much as possible and hoped the kids would move on from that. It seems that there's still some who hold on to that. I can say that this also isn't the first time we've had to address Mr. Connolly's behavior. He has quite the track record.
Then why is he still a student here? If he's done horrible things to other kids, my son is just the latest victim. And by him being a student here, he's a threat to all the kids with his kind of behavior.
This principal sighs.
There's been many false and exaggerated reports made against Kai since he's arrived here. We take each report seriously and investigate it to the best of our ability. Sometimes, not all the time, these allegations are either proven true or debunked. We have had numerous sit-downs with him to address his behavior, especially his over-the-top personality that we've managed to curtail to an extent. If what Michael said was true, there was no reason for Kai to have approached him in the manner described. There was also no reason for your classmates to have tried hunting you down. That was out of line on their part, and only the student council has that authority.
Why would they have that authority?
That said, Kai is far from perfect, but when we're able to have him focus on his studies, he excels beyond our expectations. It's never been proven that he's done anything heinous, though there's plenty of times where we've had to address his attitude. We try to give every student the chance to be successful, and some require more hand-holding than others to get their sense of direction right. As far as what has ever been proven beyond a reasonable doubt, he is one of those kids that we've had on our radar and actively try to help.
I don't care how smart he is. He's horrible.
Well, Michael, in life you're going to have to deal with people who are rude and unpleasant to you, and you just have to learn how to work through that.
I angrily glare back at Principal Rankin. What the fuck did he just say? Did he seriously just blow me off? Mom's similarity looks pissed. My similarity.
So, do you believe that Kai is a good student, Scott?
Principal Rankin shifts uncomfortably in his seat.
I can say that he has the potential to do very great things. He's bright, but he has problems finding his sense of direction. We try to work with him to get him to the right spot. Technically speaking, it's not against the rules to be antisocial. It doesn't get you very far, and it can cause more problems than it needs to, but Kai has never committed a serious infraction. None of the allegations that have been made against him that would warrant a suspension or expulsion have ever been proven to be true.
It sounds like you believe he isn't a good student.
Regardless of how I personally feel about Mr. Connolly, I do not allow my personal opinion of the students to dictate my decision-making. There's students that I've had to suspend or expel over the years that I was quite fond of. There's students who I've had to personally give awards to even though I knew they were personally nasty. My personal feelings are irrelevant.
It's your job to rein in these kids. If they're proving to be a repeated disruption to other kids in their learning environment, they should be removed from the school promptly.
It's my job as principal to ensure that each and every student, regardless of who they are and their personal quirks, has a chance at a successful future. So that's what I'm going to offer your son,
he says as he looks to me.
We're going to have a thorough investigation and work every possible angle to this story. Everyone needs a fair shake here. So what I'll have Michael do is provide a written statement that we can use to get a proper account of his side of the story, and we will take that into consideration as we investigate. I would encourage you, Michael, to tell me as much as everything as you can, from start to finish. If Kai has been bothering you since the first day, I urge you to write that down so it's documented and that is something we can address.
All right.
I will say I can't shield him from any potential civil or criminal investigations. I have had to notify law enforcement of what has happened, and I'm sure they'll be in touch with you shortly.
Mom somberly nods. So, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to be expelled? Mom looks desperately on at Principal Rankin as he lets out a sigh.
For right now, I'll reserve judgment on any official punishment towards you. You've made some fair points, as stated before, and there's no incriminating evidence on your phone.
Oh, thank goodness.
That being said, the punishment that awaits you will depend on what is uncovered in our investigation. I'm most concerned about the pictures and the fighting. You have the right to defend yourself, but how it was described to me by Mr. Hara and Mr. White, you were on top of Kai pummeling him. That is not an act of self-defense. Fighting typically carries anywhere from a one-day detention to a suspension, depending on the severity. I will weigh the facts of the case once we're able to determine them. Considering the fight took place outside the range of our surveillance cameras, the only other evidence we have is Kai's, Sam's, and your word. As for the evasion of authority charge, that'll be determined by the investigation, but I wouldn't be too worried about that. Now, should it be proven that you had anything to do with the pictures, Michael, expulsion will be the least of your worries. Am I clear on that?
Yes, sir.
So, is he to attend school like normal? How are the other kids going to react to him?
It's certainly going to be a chaotic time for the student body. For now, I'd like for Michael to not attend school for at least the rest of the week, and possibly into the middle of next week. Typically, most of the jitters over stuff like this dissipate after about a week. He is not officially suspended, so this won't go on his permanent record.
Okay, good,
Mom says through relieved breaths.
For now, I'll make the arrangements to have your assignments sent to you so you can complete them on your own time while you're home. The expectation is that all your work is completed and handed in to your respective teachers on the day that you return. Does this sound fair?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Do you have questions for me at this time, either of you?
He looks intently at my mom, and I decide to speak up first. How are Charlotte, Kayla, and Ruby? Do you know how they're doing? Principal Rankin shakes his head.
I'm afraid that I don't know much about Charlotte Webb's condition. I only know she was checked into the hospital. I don't know anything beyond that. Her parents, on the other hand, are not happy. Same goes for the families of Kayla Allen and Ruby Phillips. Both girls are rather distraught over the whole situation. I've allowed them to go home early today.
Did they say if they were going to take any action against us?
I don't know if they will for sure. I urged them to wait for us to complete the investigation before they decide anything. But we best hope Michael is telling us the truth. Otherwise, this boy's future will be in jeopardy.
An uncomfortable silence falls over the room. I stare down at the floor, a hurricane of emotions coursing through me. I'm relieved that I'm not getting expelled, but this mess is only beginning. My mom then chimes in.
When do you expect to finish your investigation?
As long as it takes. We'll get statements from all the parties involved, speaking to the witnesses, review camera footage, and go from there. I currently can't offer any specific timetable for anything, but if I learn anything, I'll be sure to notify you.
All right. Thank you, Scott.
Just doing my job. All right, Michael, I'd like for you to fill out this written statement, and then you can get going once you finish.
All right. I filled out Principal Rankin's written statement. I ended up filling out the whole thing. I told him pretty much everything I could regarding my history with Kai. I decided not to make note of why I ended my friendship with Shiro. I only wrote that I decided to do it on my own terms. I didn't want to waste paper or drag Shiro into my mess. That's the last thing I'd want on top of all this crap. Once we left and we got in the car, my mom, of course, unleashed her fury at me, saying it was a dumb decision not to go to the office in the first place and that I should have reported sooner. I didn't even bother defending myself. I was just so exhausted and sore from everything. I just wanted to sleep. But that had to wait. As soon as we got home, we were paid a visit by a police detective, and I had to fill out another written statement. Fortunately, he didn't take or look through my phone. He thanked us for our cooperation and left us. Mom told me to stay in the living room as she went to grab a first aid kit to tend my wounds more.
This is unbelievable. I can't believe you're caught up in this, Michael.
Oh, so now you believe me?
When you told me your handwriting was on the photos and I saw them for myself, I was questioning. But you've been consistent, and I know how you are when you're telling the truth. I'm still mad at you for how you handled this situation, but honestly, I'm just glad you're home now.
Mom says as she stops dabbing my wounds and hugs me softly. I return the embrace and allow for my mom to finish tending to my injuries, the extent that she realistically could before she sat down on the couch across from me. We're both silent for what feels like hours before she breaks the silence.
I should probably tell your father about all this.
What? Why? I thought you didn't want to involve him.
I don't really want to, but you're his son. He has every right to know how you're doing, even if I'm going to get an earful from him about it.
Mom says as she sheepishly takes out her phone and scrolls through it.
Besides, I think it's been long enough. You don't have to talk to him if you don't want to.
I stare down at the floor for a half a minute before making up my mind. Fine, I'll talk to him.
Good, he should probably be up by now,
she says as she looks at our wall clock.
I'll put it on speaker.
Mom lets out a big sigh as she clicks on Dad's contact and holds the phone to her ear, pacing the floor as it rings. There's a sentence fragment. Finally, it connects. There's a pause for a good 10 or 20 seconds.
Hey, Donovan.
Amber, hey, how are you? I can hear the hoarseness in my dad's voice. He must have just woken up.
Oh, just peachy.
Yeah, I feel you.
How was work last night?
Same old. Them kids keep clogging their toilets. Mom lets out a small sigh. That is, they'll
never learn at that place, do they?
Dad audibly sighs. Unfortunately not. At least they pay me all right. So, not that I'm complaining, but why are you calling me? I figured you would have made me wait another month or two.
I thought you would have been the one to break first and try calling me.
Thought about it. Didn't know when the time would be right.
Of course. Anyways, I wanted to update you on how Michael's doing.
Why? What happened?
Oh, how do I put this?
Mom proceeds to tell him about the events from earlier. No small detail left out. Once she does, there's a long pause on his end.
Hello, Donovan, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Is Michael okay? Can I talk to him?
Of course.
Mom walks over and hands me the phone. She then walks away to the kitchen. There's another long pause between us before he finally speaks up. Michael. Hey, Dad. Boy, what are you in? Hell, evidently. Welcome to life. He scoffs. You're not too badly hurt, are you? Just some bruises. I should be fine. Nothing worth going to the doctors over. Well, you gave that bastard you fought hell, right? I did, yeah. Attaboy, he says as he breaks out into a chuckle. Mom hears this through the kitchen window and shakes her head. You did everything you were supposed to. Anytime you're in a fight, you bring that son of a bitch down. Not to mention you were defending yourself and your friend the way your mother put it. As far as I'm concerned, you did the right thing there. Don't pay any mind to what that damn school says. Well, yeah, I did just that. I doubt he'll be giving you any more problems. Hopefully. If he dares, knock that punk out again. I'll, be sure to remember that, Dad. Good. There's another long, awkward pause between us. I don't want to have it be a one-sided conversation, so I decided to contribute. How are you, Dad? How have you been holding up? Oh, I've been doing recently. Got my own place finally instead of having to crash at your grandmother's all the time. Not as nice as our old house, obviously, but it's sustainable. Work has been work, life has been life, and yeah. Glad that you've been doing okay. Yeah, other than the bullshit you've been going through, how's life been for you? Making any new friends? It's and rough. Thought I had a decent friend group going for a while, then I realized they weren't for me. Then I made another friend, but she... Yeah, she... Look at you, my son's finally become a man, he says as he lets out another cackling laugh. It's not like that. Sure. Well, it doesn't matter. I defended her against Kai. She saw me go apeshit on him. Then once the teachers finally restrained me, she just walked away. So she's probably going to ghost me whenever I come back. There's another pause on his end. Well, is she one of those delicate types? She strikes me as being that way, yeah. I see. I know I'm probably not the best person to go to when it comes to women, especially now. But in my experience, girls who are more reserved and shy, they appreciate a big, strong man defending them. It matches their personality. They don't like seeing violence. If you can manage to square the two with her, and if you're good enough friends, you'll probably be fine. I'd like to think we were getting along, but we haven't been talking for that long. Well, that's on you to explain it to her. Doesn't matter if you know her for 5 years or 5 seconds. I just give her some time to process it. She's clearly never seen that side of you, so she needs time to stomach everything. Yeah, I guess so. There's another pause between us. Oh, Michael, I hope this sorts itself out. If you need anything, just call me. Thanks, Dad. Take care, son. He disconnects the call. I let out a sigh as Mom comes back to retrieve their phone.
Well, that went better than expected.
Same, I thought he would have freaked out.
Well, he sounded drowsy, so it probably won't hit him for at least another hour. Then he'll call back in a frenzy, cursing up a storm.
I shrug my shoulders, which causes a bit of pain. I guess. I don't know. He understands.
First time for everything, I guess. But it's good to know he cares.
Yeah. Most we could ask for right now, anyway.
Yeah. Well, head up to your room, mister. It's going to have to wash that uniform. I'm going to have to wash that uniform of yours.
Oh, right. I say as I look at myself. I'm covered in dirt and dried blood.
It's going to be a pain to clean that. At least that school gave you 2 of them.
Thank God for that. I head upstairs to change out of my uniform. As I finally put on something more comfortable, I hear my phone ring. I look over to see the caller ID. Huh, strange. Nobody else has my number. I decide to answer the phone. Hello? Yes, is this Michael? Asked someone. I recognized that voice. Then why was it question marks? Jeremy! What voice did I give you? Correct, Michael. I'm glad that I can finally speak to you. I wish we could have talked earlier, but the circumstances didn't allow it. There's a brief pause between us. I audibly sigh. What do you want? Easy, there's no need to be hostile. Yeah, right. You said you'd keep Kai off my back. What the hell happened with that? Did you sick him on me? Honestly, I'm just as much of a loss as you are. A wave of confusion washes over me. What? There's no way. Those two work together. There's no way Jeremy would allow Kai to do something like this without his say-so. There's a moment of silence over the line as I try to sort through the revelation. Eventually, Jeremy continues. I'm sure this might come as a shock to you, and that you might not believe me, but it's for the truth, Michael. I'm not surprised you've pieced together that Aunt Kai and I have some association with each other. So that being said, I can offer you some insight into this situation.